Hi, Derek from Sporcle here, and today I'm going to play the countries of Africa. And I'm not just going to play the countries of Africa, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about how you learn the countries of Africa. And to do that, we have to talk a little bit about memory. So the way memory works, because the brain is kind of this wacky, complicated thing, is you have to trick it sometimes, especially when you have large chunks of knowledge that you're getting into. So there's 54 African countries, and there's different ways that you can go about learning these. So I'll jump into that and we'll talk a little bit about how I learned these, as well as trying to knock out all the countries of Africa, and we'll go from there. Wish me luck, and if you like this, make sure and subscribe, follow along. The link to this quiz is going to be down in the description. All right, here we go. All right, well, so here we are on Sporcle, and we have the famed, fabled countries of Africa quiz. And it does appear quite daunting, because there's 54 countries. Now, some people just power through and they just learn them all, but there's different techniques to get this done. Some people go east to west, or they go north to south, and they really get this map down, and they go through geographical location. Other people might do something weird, like by letter size. We have like the 4-letter countries of the world, or things like that. The way the brain works is that it actually needs an anchor. And so what I'm going to do here is implement kind of two techniques for learning the countries of Africa. One is around chunking. Chunking is when you take a lot of things and you break it up into smaller things that you can process. And then the other is a little bit like from Sherlock, using a mind palace. I'm not really going to get too deep into that, but it's dealing with creating ridiculous stories that helps your brain remember things. The more ridiculous or weird or sometimes perverse the story is, the better your brain has a chance to actually remember these things. So my preferred method to chunk up the countries of Africa is alphabetically. I like to go just A to Z. Luckily, Africa has A to Z, not all 26 letters. But by going letter by letter, I can break down the mass of the whole continent of Africa into smaller bite-sized chunks so that my brain has an easier time remembering. All right, so with that, here we go. All right, so we're going to start with our A's here. So we have Angola and Algeria. There's only 2 A's, and there's only a handful of B's. So there's Benin, and there's Botswana, Burkina Faso, and Burundi. So, excuse me. So there's only a couple of A's and a couple of B's. And depending, you can kind of just lock those into your brain. If that's too hard for you, you can use one of these other techniques I'm about to talk about to help you remember. Because now we get to the C's. There's upwards of 6 C countries in Africa that you have to worry about. And for me, I just tell myself a little stupid story. So I want to hail a cab. So I call Cabo Verde. Who's driving that cab? My buddy Cameroon. What is a cab? Well, it's a car, Central African Republic. Who else is in that cab? My friend Chad. But he's a little morose, so co-morose. And why is he morose? Because he has an ivory coat. Cote d'Ivory, Ivory Coast. So again, that's a dumb little story that I tell myself, but it at least helps me remember and takes those 6 countries of Africa and tells a narrative so that it can stick in my head a little bit better. All right, so we've done A, B, C, now we're on to D. There's only a couple of D countries. There's DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and then Djibouti. And that's one of my favorite countries because it makes me giggle. All right, now we're on to E. Now E, there's another little chunk of E's that you want to get done. And, most people are actually going to remember that Egypt is in Africa. So if you can remember Egypt's in Africa, you can also remember that it's kind of near the equator, which is Equatorial Guinea. Now remember Guinea. You're going to want to know how to spell Guinea because Guinea's going to come back in a little bit. So again, I like to tell myself a little story. If I picture the pyramids, and there's like the equator maybe running around the pyramids. They're on a tray, like picture in your mind's eye, a tray. So Eritrea, and what's running around that tray are little guinea pigs because it was in Equatorial Guinea. I know this doesn't make sense, but it's kind of, if you can again trick your mind into thinking of these things. And they're being swatted off the tray by Eswatini. Used to be Swaziland, they renamed to Eswatini. I don't know if it's a marketing gig, but anyway, that's their name now. And who's doing the swatting? Well, Ethiopians. All right, so F, there's no F in countries in Africa, but there are G countries. And so if you're gabbing on about gambling, you're not gonna wanna forget how to spell Guinea, or Guinea-Bissau for that matter. All right, we're through the G's, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. There's no H, there's no I, there's no J, but my friend Ken and my other friend Les, Kenya and Lesotho, were drinking libations, Liberia, with our friend Libby. All right, our next chunk comes into the M's. There's, I think, 7 M countries in Africa. And don't be mad, Madagascar, if you end up getting Malawi, from your friend Molly, who got it from, this one's weird because Mauritania, I have to think of Mara and Tanya, but it's from your friend Mara and Tanya, Mauritania. Spelling's also going to get you on some of these. Who's with Maury Povich. Why Maury Povich pops into my head for this story, I don't know, but it helps. So, which is Mauritius, who was rocking in Mozambique. Again, you don't have to use this story. What's important is that you make up your own little story. So now I'm going to type in Nambia. Is Nambia a country? No, it is not. No matter what the president says, Nambia is not a country. But Namibia is a country. And it's pretty far away from Niger and Nigeria. All right. MNOPQR. Nope, until we get to R. There is R, which is the Republic of the Congo. And an excellent hotel run by Don Cheadle, which is the Hotel Rwanda. No, just Rwanda in general. MNOPQRS. Okay, so S is the big one because there's 8 S countries. And so sometimes with these chunks, it's just going to helpful if you can just kind of ram in your head the first one, which is what I've done for Sao Tome and Principe. And you want to learn that because it's a sin not to, so a Senegal. Why is it a sin? Well, that's what they say for Seychelles, or Seychelles. I actually don't know how to pronounce that. So says my friend Sienna, which is Sierra Leone. And why should you listen to her? Because she loves wine. She's a sommelier. So Somalia. And where is she a sommelier? In the south, by South Africa, or South Sudan. And she drives a sedan to work. All right, so now we got a couple T's we got to get through. There's Tanzania. There's not too many of these. There's Togo. And then the little guy up there by Algeria is Tunisia. Okay, we're in the home stretch. We just have 3 left. There's only one G, which is Uganda. And now we have 2. Is it Zaire? No, that used to be Congo. They split it up. Zaire is no longer a thing. But Zambia is, as is Zimbabwe. And there you have it, 54 out of 54 countries. I could have gone a little faster, but I was kind of talking as I went. And there you go, the countries of Africa. All right, so there you have it. And I know it's nonsensical and it's silly, but the key takeaway here is that to really remember something like this, it helps to break it up into smaller pieces. And as you have those smaller pieces, it helps, if those smaller pieces are kind of large, to tell a story or assign something ridiculous about them. Put them in a location, equate them to people you know. The more you can draw back on your own past experiences, especially things that you can visualize clearly in your mind's eye, the better chance you're going to have to remember something, even something as vast as the entire continent of Africa. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications for that channel. That's important. And remember, we have new content coming out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Potter Masters on Monday, videos like this middle of the week, and Matt and Derek's Quiz Lab on Fridays. It's a lot of fun, so thanks for checking it out.